Why are there feet and furries and fuzzy feet? Why is it so hairy? It doesn't make any sense at all. Why is she back? How are you back? I mean, I'm glad you're back. Of course, you know, Callie and Raving back. Oh my god, the Squid Sisters making their comeback. But why are you back? I don't get it at all. What is the plot even? What's the story? They showed us so much. Or, you know, I could just watch Rascus video. But wait, I get it. I know what it is. It's all in the Splatoon 3 pose. That's right. Splatoon 3! Why? Like, why are we gonna get their feet in the trailer? For no reason. There's clearly a reason why. Hey everyone, it's Fufu here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So recently Nintendo has released a brand new Splatoon 3 trailer. And as you know, the internet, and myself included, anyways, am I explained though? Yes, we begin the story mode trailer with a ton of glitches. Here's a cool detail that you might have not known about. In Splatoon 1, Nintendo actually used the same format that they used in the Splatoon 3 story mode trailer. They show off some gameplay before some weird glitch thing happens, and then, look, Octo Valley. Well, with Splatoon 3, it's basically the same thing. Some gameplay, glitches, story mode. So, there's parallels between the two. Yes. I thought this thing was fried at first, but turns out it wasn't fried. It's literally just an octopus with hair on it. But let's start with the hair. Now, it's pretty obvious here, but the hair is clearly the color of a bear, Mr. Grizz. But yes, I noticed the eyes. This Octarian here has this goopy thing in their eye with yellow irises, and that's kind of spooky. So here we are. We got our first look at Agent 3, or new Agent 3. I don't know, it's weird. We got new Agent 3. Now this outfit is very similar to Agent 4. I mean, take a look at the jackets. It's yellow, and then you got the hero headset, but instead of black, it's white, and then the shoes, well, they're not giant snow boots, but, you know, it's
giving share.
Even take a look at the new splatter shot, or the hero shot, or whatever it is. It looks like the old one. Yeah, this new outfit definitely reminds me of Agent 4. I don't know if that has to do anything with like the story, but that's a very similar outfit. We got little Buddy, who is going to be joining us in single player and helping us along. Super cool. Probably a ton of features you could use little Buddy for. I know that some of these are human diagrams of organs. Odd reason and odd choice, but it's giving me Octo Expansion vibes with random objects floating around. It seems to me that this stage is themed around humans, or the inside of humans. Weird. But yeah, there's definitely something going on with humans in this stage. Another thing, little Buddy is in your ink tank, or this bag. Now, that confirms a couple things. So when you're playing single player, you might have the option to just have little Buddy be inside your bag, and then when you actually need to use them, for example, and let's say you need to solve a puzzle and you gotta have little Buddy to help you out, then you can just pull little Buddy out. Maybe that's a feature.
Wait. Before we continue, I actually have a special surprise. That's right, I'm currently hosting a Splatoon Art Raffle right now on my Twitter and Instagram. You could click the links below in the description to learn how you can enter this raffle, and you might be able to win a drawing of your Splatoon OC in the Splatoon art style by me. So definitely check that out if you're interested.
Earlier, we got a shot of what was essentially the hero shot with the other Agent 4 inspired gear. Well, now we've got our agent here in this completely different attire that's very apocalyptic vibe. Now, why would our agent here be wearing this specific equipment when they have the other one? Well, there's kind of two themes going on, if you didn't know in the trailer already. There's kind of like a winter theme, and there's a kind of like this desert theme. From my understanding, it seems that we're going to be traversing a lot of different locations that have very different climates, okay? So this one is clearly a desert. I mean, look at it. It's very muddy and like...
There's a lot of dust and stuff.
But clearly takes place in a desert. Every single Splatoon game, ever since the first one, especially with the single player mode, we've received weapons that were very much in the style of the hero gear. So we had the hero roller, the hero charger, the hero dualies, you know what I mean. They all had this yellow-blue design that Sheldon made. Well, in Splatoon 3, we don't really have that, do we? We've got the regular hero shot, and then we have this bow, which is just not in a hero style, but my understanding, and I think that means that we're gonna be open to way more new weapons for us to use in the single player. Oh, and then this scene here, very much into the Spider-Verse. So we have our new Agent 3 here wearing the apocalyptic gear, and they have a little buddy in a backpack with the ink tank, which is a soda bottle. That's cute.
Hold up. Before we continue with the video, you should consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'm a Splatoon content creator, and you could help support the channel by subscribing. Anyways, let's get on with the video.
We have our Inkling here, which is in a very strange environment. This is built with like just a bunch of buildings, but flipped upside down. That's kind of crazy. Splatoon 3 story mode takes place in Alterna. I did some research and I looked on Google. We have a very reliable source. Anyways, I did some research and turns out the word Alterna in Latin means alternative or different. Clearly, Alterna, where the single player takes place, is a completely weird dimension or something because it looks so different from the usual environment that we've seen in Splatoon 3. That is Splatsville in the Splatlands, a desert, deserted, apocalyptic vibe. It's very dry and sandy and dusty and, orange. Deserted. It's just a lot of sand.
I don't like sand.
It's so strange why this would exist in a place like the Splatlands. Now that leads me to believe a couple of things. One, these are all man-made environments. As for where Alterna is it in the Splatlands? Well, Alterna is a subdivision that is in the Splatlands, is what I can say. Oh, and then right here, we got a Zapfish. So, are we going to be collecting Zapfishes again as the main goal of the single player? Well, yes, but that will not be the only focus. Now, I don't think Splatsville is going through some energy crisis where their great Zapfish is missing because I don't think they run on that. Instead, these Zapfishes are here for another reason. We're collecting them to power a rocket ship. And then next, we have a bunch of human heads from Easter Island in this trailer. Now, earlier I mentioned that there was a bunch of human organ diagrams in the earlier stages, and in this stage, or in this location specifically, there's a bunch of human heads. There is a clear theme going on with the trailer. Return to the mammalians, and humans are mammals. I'm sure you know that already. Octo Expansion ended on a statue of a human was the final boss, and that kind of leaves me with a topic that has been building up throughout the two games. The Professor. Everyone knows the Professor. Judd and Little Judd are connected to the Professor. Tartar is connected to the Professor. So there's a lot of things already leading up to who is this Professor. We got sunken scrolls about them. We got like literally everything. This is strange. Why are they wearing their apocalyptic attire in this winter setting? Well, you see, we actually meet the rest of the Squidbeak Splatoon in this specific area. This likely takes place halfway through the single player, or at least near the halfway point. Because in the first point, I'll explain later, we meet Captain Cuttlefish, and we probably do a couple levels. Now, I don't think Captain Cuttlefish is going to be too much of a big role, so that begs the question, why are we in the snow in this type of apocalyptic gear? Now, I want to make a good point here. Nintendo has shown us quite a bit of environments throughout this trailer. We have the snow tundra environment, we have the city environment, and then we have the human environment. Now we have this lantern environment with a ton of lanterns, and it's a very, very aesthetically pleasing environment. But it's strange, right? Because the environments in this game are vast. There's a ton of them. But I think that Nintendo is doing a bit of a different approach. I think that Nintendo might do something where we're going to be visiting a couple of major big sections. So this doesn't mean that it's completely open world. I don't think Splatoon 3 will be a full open world, but it will be a linear open world game. And then this right here, we've got our first look at what seems to be the new version of Sunken Scrolls. These look like the professor's notes. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to represent human language, but they just decided to kind of over-exaggerate it, like cursive to the point where you can't read it. Initially, I was going to say that these are photos that the professor took before he cryogenically froze Judd. I don't know if Judd will be judging the battles anymore. I feel like they wouldn't change that. But at the same time, it's like, well, why is Judd here? There's something with something big about this. So, my opinion, will Judd and Little Judd be kidnapped? Maybe not, but they're gonna be playing a role in the single player because they are a big part of it. Right, and then here we are at our next scene. Now this takes place near the space shuttle, or the spaceship. This environment reminds me a lot of the final stages of Octo Expansion, the one where you battle Agent 3 with it in the elevator scene. You know, it's very big and just white and simple. So that kind of is like very interesting, right? The main lobby and the multiplayer experience overall have a apocalyptic, chaotic feel to it. We already know that the setting is a desert. There's a lot of literally Splatsville is called the City of Chaos. So the single player takes place in Alterna, an alternative to that of Chaos, and you know all that with order. We have the single player, which takes on a very orderly feel. The buildings here are just white. It's very high tech looking. It's not like it takes place in a desert, and it's in a snow tundra too. Now, we don't see any enemies here, so I don't think this is necessarily a level, but we do know that this is probably the hub world for the single player. Now, in this scene, we got a bunch of Octarians lined up. They're back on their old scooter look type of things, and they made a shot of their feet. Now, I know they were wearing boots earlier in the previous games. They had black boots on, so, they don't have shoes on, that's why they have feet. No, there's a reason why we're seeing their feet in this trailer. Why would they give us their feet in this trailer? But why? Why are we gonna get their feet in the trailer? For no reason. There's clearly a reason why. I'm sure you guys already know this, but Grisco is playing a major role behind the single player. Like, a major one, because these guys are turning into basically bears. Like, they got, fur that's the color of a bear. They got feet. Nintendo showed us this for a reason, clearly. Nintendo showed us their feet for a reason.